I've become more Semitic. I didn't mean to. Anyone who knows me knows I sure as hell didn't try to do that. That wouldn't have been what I would have done. I don't think like that. I mean, you know, I like the duds. I like, you know, I like the hair. I like the shades. I like the tude. You know, it's fun. It's fun. It's what I'm doing now. It's not what I'm going to be doing in a year or two from now. History says otherwise. I'm already up to something. I'm already plotting something for the spring Phoenix Fringe Festival, you know, that ain't going to look like this, you know. But it's all good, except for the fact that if I walk through life wearing a dress at Food City, that's our cheap Mexican market that no Jew in his right mind would set foot in, that I live at because I love it. They play music. Okay, seriously. You know, where I come from, we don't go to a place like we could get killed. You know, I mean, that's how we thought. I mean, that's how my parents thought. You know, I don't think like that. I live here. You know, but jeepers, walk in. People ask me when I was wearing dresses. They come up to me after shows and say, "Do you dress like that all the time?" I go, "What you want to know is, do I go to Food City looking like this?" Yeah, I go to Food City looking like this and get my ass kicked in the parking lot. Well, here's the deal. If you're walking through Phoenix, Arizona and you reek of being a Jew, what's your day going to be like? Well, do it for 6 years and never once consider, well, let's just pretend. I spent 6 years out here going out wearing a dress and thought nothing of it, and for the life of me couldn't understand why I was meeting the meanest people on the planet. You guys would laugh. It'd be absurd. Oh, dude, you're wearing a dress. Yeah, that's where we are. We don't do that. Well, let me tell you something. In the last 72 hours, I have gone over some of the most painful conversations I've had in the last 6 years. Things, you know, how you never, you know, people could say the meanest things to you and it rolls right off. Then someone could say something to you, well, we all don't have perfect teeth, Paisley. And it gets under your skin, and you wake up in the middle of the night and you think about, why did that person say that about my teeth? Gosh, anyone who knows me knows what I've been through. God, that was brutal. It's almost like making fun of me for being fat, but we're not all skinny like you, Paisley. It's like the opposite of true. But you know, I've gone through a lot of these things, and I played the fortune cookie game with them. You know, you read a fortune cookie at the end, you say in bed, and it changes the whole timbre of the fortune. Well, I've gone through some of the meanest things people have said to me that have hurt me, that have gotten under my skin, not the real mean things, you know, but it's just stuff that's gotten to me personally. And I've added to it something that has to do with, I'm not a Jew, so we're not all Jews, so we don't all have perfect teeth, Paisley. And it has really opened my eyes to something. And again, imagine someone who doesn't know me hearing this for the first time. They're going to think, oh, he's one of those people that walks around with that Jewish self-hating complex where everything is filtered through his fantasy of racism. Oh, it's because I'm Jewish that we got a bad parking space, you know. And but I filtered all this stuff through the concept of anti-Semitism, and I saw a real connecting thread that the things that people have said to me that have hurt the most have had to do with some level of privilege. And I love the example. The person who said that to me about my teeth, and of course I won't say names, I'll tell you guys later, but I won't say names, but they're a fellow musician who I think, while not nearly as talented as me, is certainly a lot better looking. I always thought, someone I thought is a really good looking guy. And they were having extensive work done on their teeth, and I said something to the effect of, wow, you're really doing a lot with your mouth, wow. Because in my eyes, they had great teeth. Again, that was what my thinking was. And they came back with well, we don't all have perfect teeth, Paisley. And they were furious. And I sat there and I went, wow, how did that even land on me? Like, I mean, there was no malice, you know, and someone would say, just let it go. It was just a simple misunderstanding, but it was something that just repeated over and over and over again. And then I realized, how many times in my life have people asked me if I used to wear braces? And how many times I said, no, I never needed them. No, I never needed them. My brothers wore braces, but I didn't. Everybody in my house had to wear braces. Everyone needed glasses. I always had perfect teeth and good vision, and not anymore. But anyway, but you know what I'm saying? It was like, and I thought nothing of it because I was just telling the truth. You know, and now, how many times have I known people who said, my parents couldn't afford to give us braces. We couldn't afford braces. And how many times there's been that undertone of, you were raised with a kind of privilege, Paisley, that we didn't have. And then I go back to this instance where this person said what they said about my teeth. And I was like, wow, I don't have perfect teeth, by the way. And at the time that it was said to me, I was not telling anyone that I had cracked a tooth in my mouth that I had essentially lost eventually, you know, and went through hell, and my whole face blew up, and my dentist said I almost died, and you know, that's okay. I have perfect teeth. And we should snap at me about it when I'm complimenting someone by accident, not knowing it was an insult. But I remembered how many times this person made comments about privilege, mostly about me, that I could prove were insults, but they were just there all the time under the surface. And how many times they had made comments about privilege in others, and how many times those people happened to be Jewish. And I went, wow, that's really interesting, God. And I went through so many of my relationships and so many of my conversations to see how much that would fit as the answer to the big question of what went wrong here? What was really the problem? And it always came down to privilege, a jealousy over privilege, that somehow, some way I was raised with some kind of privilege that other people hadn't had, which, again, anyone who knows me personally has to see the humor in that. Because, yeah, I was privileged to a lot of stuff you guys never had. And at least I could get money out of my mom's purse to compensate for it. But